All right, Mike, I got a really good idea. Since we're doing Jarhead this week, I know how we're going to open the show. I'm going to shave your head.
Fine. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Sure.
Why are you laughing?
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
Ladies and gentlemen, please notice that exits are conveniently located at the front and rear of this auditorium. When leaving the theater, we suggest that the exit at the front of the auditorium will allow you easier access to the parking areas. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mike Field.
I'm Mike Butler.
And this is Forgotten Cinema. Each episode, we highlight a film that, for a variety of reasons, was forgotten by audiences. Whether it be a more popular movie was released at the same time, or the film just didn't catch on with an audience in its initial run. We'll discuss what we love about the film, or maybe don't love about it, but we'll always recommend you revisit it. If you enjoy the show, we want to hear from you. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and obviously YouTube if you're watching us. We have a backlog of over 300 plus, close to 300. I said over, close to 300 episodes for your listening pleasure.
Well done. You did it.
I kind of got through it.
Yeah.
I kind of got through it. It is second nature at some point.
You got it.
All right.
It just becomes muscle memory.
It does. It's, I mean, we've done about, like I said, almost 300 episodes. You think I'd figure this out already?
I believe in you. One
Thanks,
day,
man.
You'll
Thanks.
figure it out. The scripts were a crutch.
What's the matter?
The scripts we were reading were a crutch all these years.
No, I know. They were. We really should be off book.
We should.
How are you? What's going on?
I'm doing all right. I was following my dream of becoming a U.S. Marine, and it turns out it really wasn't all it was cracked up to be. I got kind of beat up in basic training. I went to war, the Gulf War. Even though I was like 4, I still went. And, turns out I spent all this time training to be a scout sniper, and I didn't even get to kill anyone.
You get to see that pink mist.
Didn't get to see the pink mist. Barely even got to shoot my weapon. I only fired my weapon at the end haphazardly.
Yeah,
so it was kind of a waste of time.
Well, I think that was the whole point of the movie a little bit. I think that was kind of like that was what we were talking about. That's right. We are doing the 2005 film Jarhead, which was actually a big revisit for me because I only saw this film in theaters.
Same with me. Yeah,
never saw it on Blu-ray or DVD or whatever, and just kind of, I don't know why. I just never.
It's not really a movie you want to go back to.
I mean, because it's a war film.
It's kind of like, no, we'll get into it.
Okay, so that's
kind of the part of the show.
Let's get into those facts, and then we can get into our movie. I put in air quotes, discussion. Jarhead is a runtime of 125 minutes. Rated R. Production budget of $72 million. Came out on November 4th, 2005. That was a Friday. Opening weekend, it did $27.7 million. Domestic, 62.7 for, its opening weekend was 27.7. Its total domestic was 62.7. Its total international was 34.4 million for a worldwide total of $97.1 million. So not really
not a huge hit.
No.
Probably made its money back after marketing.
Yeah. A production company was Red Wagon Entertainment and Neal Street Productions, and it was distributed by Universal Pictures. So I said it came out on the 4th of November. Let's go back to the 28th of October. The week before, you had a wide release of The Legend of Zorro, Saw 2, Prime, and The Weatherman. Weatherman was
that episode we did 2 seasons ago.
And I know you've seen Saw 2, and I know you saw us, right? And you saw Legend of Zorro.
I've seen Legend of Zorro, which came out way too late compared to like the original Antonio Banderas one. It was like too little too late. I was not a fan of it. I love Mask.
Oh, that's right. It's like a good 10 years after the Mask. Yeah, Mask of Zorro. Because that was 95, right? We did Mask of Zorro.
95 or 96, yeah. I love
97?
Maybe 97. I don't think I was. Yeah.
We did the Mask of Zorro.
We did the movie.
Yeah. Interesting. We should probably look at our own notes. I don't think you saw Prime. I know.
No.
I saw Prime, but I
don't even think I know what it is.
It's with Uma Thurman and Brian Greenberg. They're dating, and Meryl Streep's her therapist, and the therapist is her new boyfriend's mother, and he's like 10 years younger than Uma Thurman, and like
I do not.
No, really?
Nope.
Yeah. That's funny. All right. You had on the 4th, when this film came out, you had it going up against Chicken Little and Good Night and Good Luck in wide releases.
Good Night and Good Luck, I've seen.
That's on Broadway. That just came out.
I could see them have done a play.
Clooney's playing the lead in that.
Oh, he's actually in the play as well?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah. There's a whole thing where how he dyed his hair and his kids are making fun of him and stuff like that. The Wednesday after the 9th, you had a wide release of Get Rich or Die Trying, the 50 Cent film. And then the week after the 11th, so that's the Friday after the 4th, obviously, you had a wide release of Zathura, A Space Adventure. Is that on our list?
You've talked about it before, but I don't think it's on our list. I've never seen it.
I think it should be on our list. It's
but
kind
I know
of
people like it. Yeah. That's Jon Favreau, right?
Yes. Yeah. You also had the Clive Owen, Jennifer Aniston film Derailed, and a limited release of Pride and Prejudice, B Season, and Ellie Parker. So you haven't seen any of that.
I've seen Derailed.
Okay. So so Ellie Parker, I was like, oh, that.
I don't know.
So that sounds familiar. Naomi Watts is, and I'm like, oh, that sounds familiar. I don't know why it's familiar. So I put the trailer on. And immediately I knew why it was familiar, because it was shot on digital. It was shot on like a Sony DCP camera, and it was edited on mini DV. And and this is obviously 2005. So this is when like you could shoot anything on digital. Everything's on digital now. It's like, and I was like, oh my God, it looks so old. And just, it was like 480p. It was just really, it was, and I was like, but the thing was like a lot of movies came out like that. Like we did the movie Unsane. The Steven
that was
Soderbergh
shot on
film.
the iPhone,
but it was shot on a phone, but it was better quality. But like that same idea, like this is all the Ellie Parker film, much like many other films, were like the advent of all those like digital ones. We did Collateral, obviously.
That was like professional.
Yeah, I get you. But it was funny. It was just like, oh my God, now I know why I know this film. Anyways,
does it even fit the screen? Like, I mean, I assume blowing it up on a widescreen is
the trailer. I watched it on my computer screen, which is big. It's an iMac, but. It was just like, oof. Yeah. This film was directed by Sam Mendes, who won an Oscar for one of Butler's favorite films. No, he didn't win for American Beauty. Yes, he did. He did win for American Beauty.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't like American Beauty, but I understand that he deserves to win for American Beauty. I understand the performances are good. I just don't like it.
He was nominated 3 times for 1917. And
great movie.
And he also did Skyfall, as you know.
Great movie.
Written by William Broyles Jr., who was nominated for an Oscar for Apollo 13. He also did The Polar Express, Castaway, and he's the creator of the TV show China Beach. Cinematographer was Roger Deakins, who has 19 nominations, and he's won for 1917 and Blade Runner 2049. Mm-hmm. Composer was Thomas Newman, who has 15 Academy Award nominations. He no wins. He did WALL-E, Meet Joe Black.
An episode we did.
Edited by Walter Murch, who has 9 nominations. Walter Murch is very famous in Hollywood and editing circles and all of Hollywood circles. He's won 2 Oscars for English Patient, for editing and for sound. So yes, he also did sound. He also won an Oscar for Apocalypse Now for sound, but he was nominated for editing well for that. Yeah,
that's so, like the sound designer for Star Wars ended up becoming an editor.
Right.
So he ended up editing all the prequels, but also doubling on sound.
Yeah. And it's kind of a meta moment when they're in this film in Jarhead and they're watching Apocalypse Now. So the guy who edited this film, they're watching the film that he edited.
Right, that's true, yeah.
Produced by Lucy Fisher and Douglas Wick. Fisher has done The Great Gatsby and Divergent, and Wick has won an Oscar for Gladiator since that won Best Picture, and he was nominated for Working Girl as well.
We did Gladiator on our Look Back series.
We did. You're right. And obviously this is based on a book by Anthony Swaffer, who Jake Gyllenhaal character plays in the movie. He actually has, I think he's written episodes for the TV show The Code and for the TV show Taken. He's done a couple things, mostly military based stuff like that. So I just said Jake Gyllenhaal's film as Swaff. I'm gonna give you their nicknames. He nominated for an Oscar for I Just Can't Quit You. Brokeback Mountain. Good job.
Oh, duh. For some reason, I was thinking Prisoners.
No,
your quote didn't even enter my brain. Like I was just thinking he's Prisoners. He's really good in Prisoners.
He's really good in a lot of things. I would say he's underrated a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. I think he did big movies, and obviously after he did Prince of Persia, he went away, and we always talk about it. Did Broadway and got become stage better. But I think even before that, he was good, and then he just got better. People they sleep on Jake Gyllenhaal.
He's also in Zodiac and Nightcrawler, but tons of other films. What's funny is the note I had was he got the role for this film while he was shooting Brokeback Mountain, and he had to work out, and like Ang Lee was like, fine, you can bring barbells to the set. Like that was because Ang Lee was like, your character, and this is not somebody who is
buff and like a Marine. Yeah.
So he had to start working out for Jarhead. And then while he was shooting Jarhead, he got the role for Zodiac. Can you just imagine that career path? You're just like, wow,
back to
big movies. The big movies you're going from Ang Lee to Sam Mendes to Fincher. I know you have a great time with Fincher, but still, the kind of, it's pretty
Still
impressive.
an experience.
Pretty impressive. Peter Sarsgaard as Troy. He is his buddy in this. He's a scout. He's a scout. Yeah, but he's his buddy in the film. He's in Shattered Glass, Kinsey, and September 5. More recently, that's just came out.
And married to Jake Gyllenhaal's sister.
Correct. We don't do the gossip thing here. We're not TMZ.
When did they start dating?
That note was in the details of when I was looking at stuff. I'm just like, I'm not writing this down. Jamie Foxx as Staff Sergeant Sykes won an Oscar for Ray. He's also nominated for Collateral same year. Butler, I didn't know that.
Collateral is an amazing movie and an episode we did.
But he didn't win the Oscar for that. He won for Ray.
He should have won for Collateral.
You're not going to win for Collateral.
He's so good at Collateral.
You're going to win for the biopic. You're not going to win for...
I understand that.
He's also in Django Unchained, of course.
He's also in Back in Action. An episode we did a couple months ago
for our
now showing.
Now showing, correct. Lucas Black as Kruger from 42, Sling Blade. He's also in the NCIS New Orleans TV show, but we know him from... Oh my God, you're killing me. You're killing me.
I mean, he's Fast and Furious.
He's obviously, yes, but we know him from the X-Files movie. He's the kid that falls in the hole.
He falls in
the
things.
blood in.
I think I found something.
God. Killing me, Butler. Come on.
Sorry.
Brian Garrity as Fergus from The Hurt Locker, the TV show Boardwalk Empire, which is where when I saw him on screen, I'm like, I know this guy. Where have I seen it? And it was Boardwalk Empire. That's where I knew him from. He's also in the TV show 1923. Jacob Vargas as Juan Cortez, or Cortez as he's known. He's in the TV show Sons of Anarchy. He's also in the movie The 33, and he's in Get Shorty. Do you know which part in Get Shorty he is, Cortez?
I haven't seen it in so long.
Okay,
no.
he's Yayo. He's the kid that comes with the strapped.
Oh, okay.
Where Del Orlando pushes him off the thing.
That's on a.
Here's the problem, Yayo. Alonzo as Escobar. Please tell me you know where he's from.
That's Mother's Milk from The Boys.
There you go. Did you know that immediately? Because he looks so much
At first, no.
different.
And then he called on the radio something and he's like, this thing doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, that's Mother's Milk.
Yeah. He's also in Detroit and Wrath of Man. You had Ivan Fenyo as Pinko. He's in a lot of Hungarian TV shows. And the note I have on him is like, he says that like 70% of his dialogue was cut.
Because he has an accent?
Well, but also, yeah, maybe, or I think Mendy's cut a couple of things. But he says that he had a lot of Eastern European take on democracy and the Gulf War in and of itself. So I don't know if they're pulling the politics out so much, because I know they pull a lot of it out from they don't use so much that's in the book for the movie, but maybe they were just kind of like pulling it more. I don't know. So
gotcha. I did notice he's like, his one bigger line is when he's like asked to see the Cortez's kid.
Yeah.
Can I see the pictures? And I was like, where'd this guy's accent come from?
Evan Jones is Fowler from 8 Mile and Den of Thieves.
An episode we did 2 seasons ago.
And if you're wondering, he's Cheddar Bob in 8 Miles. That's kind of
Cheddar Bob.
We always talk. I think everyone knows him for that. He almost plays the same
character.
Yeah, Den of Thieves he's different, but he almost plays in this one. It's almost like an extension of Cheddar Bob a little bit. Scott McDonald is D.I. Fitch, the drill instructor. He's in Fire in the Sky.
An episode we did.
But the reason why I bring him up, Butler, is he's actually Jack Frost in the horror films Jack Frost.
Is he?
He plays the snowman. We've talked about the show quite a bit on that. We've talked about that movie quite a bit on the show, so I thought that was a nice little note to have. Then we have Dennis Haysbert in there as Major Lincoln from the TV show 24. Major League as well, Far From Heaven. Chris Cooper as Lieutenant Colonel Kaczynski. He won an Oscar for adaptation. He's also in Butler's favorite movie, American Beauty, and The Company Men. And then John Krasinski's in there for a couple minutes.
He wrote all his own lines. All 3 lines that are in the movie.
Don't get me started. All right. So that's kind of the facts. And I got a couple other just facts surrounding the film in and of itself. But I'm curious, Mike, because I've got some thoughts. I know you've got some thoughts. I'm curious your initial thoughts.
I don't have a thought in my head. I saw this back in 2005. I think I mentioned it last episode, or a few episodes ago. I wrote a review for this in my school paper that actually got me I don't remember, it was a National Journalism Award for students, or like a North New England Award or whatever. But I actually got an award for this, the article I wrote for this review. And I don't remember the review. I tried to find the newspaper, but I couldn't find it. I know it's at my parents' house somewhere. But I know I wrote in that review that this is an excellent movie that I really probably would never watch again.
You lie, because you did watch it again.
And then we watched it again for Forgotten Cinema. I think it's a very interesting movie. I think it's a very important movie to watch. I think it's a very important movie for people that are in high school to watch, because I think a lot of people in high school, myself included, thought about going into service.
Did you really?
Not the Marines.
I never thought
I
about it.
hardcore really wanted to go into the Air Force.
I never wanted to.
Not even thought about it like as a possibility. Wow.
I think I've told you, I don't know if I told you on the show, but I've told you like I would play basketball outside at the park, by a Painter Park in West Haven, everybody. And if I was by myself, without fail, a car would pull up and a recruiter would come out like, "Hey man, what are you doing?" And I'd be like, "Dude, I'm just shooting hoops here, man." I don't know.
Oh yeah, I used to get calls.
I had no interest in serving, and I just wasn't for me.
Gotcha. Well, I think a lot of young men do.
No. I'm not saying that. That's me. I did.
I gotcha. And I think a lot of people think of, especially because the recruiters call you and they talk about how fun it is, how great it is, the brotherhood, the family,
and that's all
the
there.
perks.
I think that's all there.
I think it is. But I don't think they tell you, and then you see the war movies and you see, yes, there's violence and you can get shot and blown up and die but also be a hero and all that kind of stuff. But they don't tell you about like this part of being in the military, which I think Jarhead does a really good job of showing you during the downtimes. Like, what do you do? What is life like in certain situations?
Well, I think there's always
this specific situation. And I think it's interesting.
Yeah, there's always that idea and that when the military is such a well-oiled machine and a well-run unit, but then all war movies and all military films that are out there always have that element of some people just don't know what they're doing sometimes. Like stuff like that. Yeah, the red tape and the bureaucracy and stuff, and like Chris Cooper in this one, Lieutenant Colonel's like, "We're here as soon as the Washington figures out what they're doing."
They got a little more talking and yapping to do.
Yeah. So it's I get it. I mean, that's there. That's always there.
Yeah. So I think it's an important movie to watch. I think it's really well done. It's really well, obviously. I think anything done by Roger Deakins is amazing. I think he's just an amazing cinematographer. There are awesome shots in this, even like just like little shots that I love, like him getting up to pee when he has that bad dream and he's in the barracks.
Oh, yep.
And he walks down, just the way the light's coming out and you see the fans going, just like the way he shoots his films is just so it's almost like very distinctly him. And I think I'm not a big like, ooh, cinematographer kind of guy. Like when I'm watching a movie, some things are shot well, some things aren't. But like when there's Roger Deakins doing a movie, it's almost like you can kind of tell, especially his more modern movies, that I think is just fantastic. I think Jake Gyllenhaal does a great job. I think the whole cast of Marines is just really, really phenomenal. So I really like this movie. It's not a movie that, if it's on TV, I'm not going to keep it on and watch it. Not that I have cable and can do that.
Like poor.
But no, I really like this movie, but it's not something I think I didn't think I'd ever go back to it. But I am glad I did, because looking at it through more of a filmmaker's eye, it was definitely fun to go back to. But it's not a downer, but it's it's kind of heavy. You know what I mean?
Oh, it deals with some,
but
deep subjects, and I don't think it gets too. I don't think it's as too heavy as some of the more recent films that we've watched. Like for instance, what was the film we watched? Sam Waterston, Killing Fields. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No. It's
your
not like
stone face staring at me really helps me figure out. You're just like,
well, you're saying recently, but that was actually a little while ago now.
Well, no.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah. So that film was really like that's a film that's you should watch it because it's historical in and of itself. But that film I thought was not want to say deeper. Like this film, Jarhead, has moments of levity in terms of you just have to laugh or you'll cry kind of things. Just
100%. Yeah. Absolutely.
But the Killing, I mean, when I compare the two, I think the Killing Fields is far more of a serious film and an important film. But this film, where it's interesting just to kind of see, it's almost modern history, even though it's 30 years ago now.
Just about, yeah. I mean, I get that you're talking about like things are like the Killing Fields is deeper, but I think because like Jarhead goes and you see the burned bodies, but they don't really talk about it.
It's just that one scene.
That's not what this is. That's not what the movie is about. So it's definitely not as like deep or dark or downtrodden as Killing Fields, or like you said, it's important to like learn about atrocities and stuff like that and understand what happened. Because this movie is not, like you said, they took all the politics out of the film. It's if you're looking for a film that tells you what the Gulf War was or what it was really about, this is not the film. This isn't really the film for that.
What about the idea that this film is not so much a plot-driven, a story-driven piece, but it's more a character driven piece, and because this film has a very documentarian style feel to it, where we're just presented with Swaff and his introduction, and then we're presented with the character, and it just kind of like goes beat boop boop. You know what I mean? It just seems like it travels along a path that's not really necessarily there's no really like story. It's the whole thing, I guess, is, this is a stupid thing to say, but the whole thing is the story where it's like we just go from like troop, how long they've been there, how many troops are there now, this is what happens, this is what happens. It feels very much like almost like a historical timeline, and we're just watching along the way. Yeah. And then the war ends, and then it's done, and then they go back home. I don't like, it doesn't feel like there's really that much of a major plot in this film. Like it's more just a character piece.
It absolutely is just following Swafford and figuring out what was going on in their heads. It's definitely a character piece.
Okay.
For sure. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're not learning anything about the Gulf War. There's no big bad guy. There's no villain. There's no, I mean, I guess there's rising action, and you could say that the climax is him and
Troy.
You could say that it's them in the sniper's nest.
Well, I think that's a culmination
or it's him when he's got the gun to the other dweeb's head.
Well, there's that
either one,
right? When he's got the two, not Pinko. Who's the one that he has out there for him? Fergus, yeah. I think it was started with an F.
Yeah,
I think that ending with him and Troy is more of just indicative of probably what a lot of people that, well, I don't know, because when they get back and everyone's like celebrating and firing off their weapons, it seems like everybody else in their unit doesn't want to fight. With, you know what I mean? Doesn't want to get into any kind of action.
With the exception of Garrity's character.
Oh, well, that's Fergus. You're talking about
Fergus.
Fowler and Kruger, like Lucas Black's character.
Yeah.
And Evan Jones' character.
Well, you know, that one of them's bringing up the dead body and like, this is war. This is what I want. Like, he's just a psychopath.
Yeah.
Killing camels and stuff like that. But yeah, everybody else is just like, they serving their time.
Yeah.
Getting, whatever perks they get from being in the military.
Well,
and then
GI Bill. They get.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
money, and they get to go to college and whatnot.
They're just happy they got through it and lived. But, these two guys, especially, Troy is just all about serving, all about being in the Marines.
Well, he's found his purpose.
Yeah. And
you,
Swafford he felt like he was tortured throughout his entire time in the Marines. So he had to at least use what he suffered for, and they don't get to.
What's funny about what's not funny, but what's interesting about Swaff is that it starts off for he signed up to defend his country, but that is squashed day one with the drill instructor and
got lost on the way to college, sir. I thought that was a good line.
Yeah, it is. But he it's immediate. His disillusionment of being in the military is immediate. So the whole time he just never wants to be there. But then he's there and he's going to get the fight. He wants to fight. So it comes back, I think.
I don't know if he wants to fight for the same reasons though, so much as he wants to do what he was told he could do. But oh no, I don't know. Because now I'm thinking back to when Jamie Foxx's character says you could be a sniper.
I want that.
A scout sniper.
And he's like, I want that
he's
pink
proud
mist.
of it. He wants it. And he's happy he got a position. Somebody finally recognized something in him.
Right.
And that does switch something in him.
But then there's the moment where Sykes is telling them, he's reading them the note from Saddam, and he tells them that Desert Shield has now become Desert Storm. And they cut to Swafford. They cut to Swaff sitting there, and he's like, he's ready to go.
Yeah, he's ready to go.
So okay, great. Yeah. Then they get called upon to go and take out those two generals, and they're like him and Troy. They're excited. They're going to go there. They get there. They're ready to go. They're looking for the shot. They get shut down. They have that fight, and then Haysbert leaves. The Major Major Lincoln leaves, and then Swaff has that line where he's like, "I'm trying to get out, and you're trying to stay in."
Yeah.
But to me, I just saw 10 minutes in this film where that was not the case with you. You were ready to go. You were ready to shoot and get that pink mist, and now all of a sudden it goes back and forth a little bit.
I think he doesn't want to be in the Marines. It's not about serving, but it's still about doing what he suffered for. I was trained to do this. I went through all this shit that I hated. I went through the suck. I just want to shoot somebody.
Yeah.
It's what I was trained to do. I want to kill a bad guy. Let me kill a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I didn't even get to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you're right that at the beginning it's about serving, and I think at the end it's just about making it mean something for him personally, not for the country or anything.
No, I know it's a totally
Yeah.
personal piece. I don't view it's a little refreshing to see a war film that's not necessarily about the politics of the war, which those films are out there and those films I like to watch.
Right.
But every once in a while, you want to watch something that's more about the people that serve and what they go through. And the fact that with this war, with this Gulf War, Desert Shield, the Desert Storm, you like, and they talk about like you have all these men that go out there, men and women go out there and they're ready to go and they're fired up and they're getting them prepared and and then it ends and there's nothing. And then it's like, now what? Like you went out to serve and you didn't see the action. When that Vietnam vet comes up at the end when they're in the bus and the Vietnam vet comes up and he's like, oh, thank God. And then he says, I'm going to super you guys. Like, obviously he is somebody that has experienced war.
Yeah.
But nobody in that
bus
has. Yeah.
They didn't get it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I wonder if there's that level of guilt, that personal guilt where people are like, thank you, but like you didn't do anything. And do you, I mean, you're happy that you didn't do anything. You're happy that you came home alive, but you have to live with the fact that you really didn't, nothing happened. And
right.
Like, it's a tough struggle. It's not a movie I want to see because that movie's probably really boring, like Them at Home. Right. But it's, and there's other movies like that out there, but, it's just interesting because it's a tough, like, yeah, I did it, but I didn't do anything. Am I really, you know what I mean? Like it's odd. It's a discussion for a different day, I guess. I don't know.
So kind of like in that respect of like, they didn't do anything. There are a couple scenes in this movie that I remember that were in the movie.
Okay.
And I was talking to Elise about it because she had seen it as well. And I was like, I remember with the respect to the war stuff, people coming, like them thinking they were going to get to fight and people coming up and just surrendering. I don't know. It must be another movie that I'm thinking of.
That might be Three Kings.
Is it though?
That might be.
Maybe.
Well, Generation Kill? Did you watch that? The TV show?
I've never seen that.
I think that's Three Kings.
Maybe it is. I just thought it was like a straight up war movie, but maybe it's the scenes in Three Kings. Because I vividly remember like people like, oh, we're going to finally get action. And then just scores of Iraqi troops just go, we give up. And just surrender to them because they don't want to fight.
I think so because Three Kings deals with the fact that they go and rob, they get the gold.
Yeah, and they're robbing. Yeah. What was the other Jamie Foxx one, The Kingdom?
Oh, The King.
Was that Desert Storm or was that just Iraq and Afghanistan?
That was the FBI agents investigating.
That's
what
I thought. Okay, which I like that movie too, but that's different.
That movie. See, I think we've had this discussion where I said that movie. There's like 20 minutes that's really good in that film. But just make it 20 minutes short. Like that's what I like. Some of the other stuff was I found boring, but I haven't seen it in a while. Put it on the list.
But yeah, I remember that scene vividly, and then another scene where, like, I thought he was ROTC, and he messes up in a chemistry class, and he purposely kind of defaces the chemistry room by doing some stuff, and he's just like, yeah. It's like I think I'm combining two different movies about a young person's experience in the military.
What he's defacing the science room?
I remember like what I think happened is he's like in a chemistry class and he purposely messes with these chemicals and like they want to kick him out of the military and then they don't. And then it segues into him actually serving. And it's like I'm combining two movies.
I don't even remember.
But yeah, I can't figure it out now because I really thought it was Jarhead.
Here comes a tangent. That reminds me of the episode in Quantum Leap where he is in the college and he's trying to stop the guy from bombing the college.
Oh yeah.
And in the classroom and they've set up the slingshot, because they shoot the bomb out in the water. Anyways, but he really wasn't there for that. He was there so he could make the jump so he wouldn't break his neck at the end.
Quantum Leap podcast coming out.
I'm sorry because you're saying it. I'm just picturing. I'm just like I gotta say it. I apologize. I promise. No more Quantum Leap tangents today.
You can't promise. Yeah, you can't promise that.
I didn't realize that a lot of the lines were improvised.
Me neither. When I read that note, I was like, really?
Yeah. So Sam Mendes encouraged them to improvise their lines. because he had just come off of doing Road to Perdition.
Road to Perdition.
And Road to Perdition, I guess, was very stylized and very scripted. So
and rigid.
he wanted to do something.
Which we did that episode.
Yes, we did. A little bit more improvised. But they rehearsed for like 4 weeks before this film. So yes, they probably improvised, but that improvisation probably came from the rehearsal. Yeah. But one of the lines I liked, which I probably, then now thinking about that note, makes me think this line is improvised, was when the helicopter comes and they're playing the music. He's like, that's Vietnam music. We can't even have our own music. I was like, yeah.
I feel like Chris Cooper's, his speech is partly
I'm sure.
thing.
He probably had like notes to say.
It's so soft.
Yeah.
I'm rock hard. You're going to get that medal free onto yourself? I don't think anyone else is joining you.
And I guess this wasn't a criticism of the book, but I guess, or it was, and I guess it carried over to the movie. Not a criticism, but just kind of like, hey, a lot of the stories they used within the platoon or within the book are like almost urban legends in Marine life. Like it's happened. Like this is not necessarily all the stuff that happened to Swafford when he was in war.
Oh, but he added stuff that happens to.
I don't know if he added it or the scripted, but they use a lot of stuff that you hear throughout the Marine Corps or throughout the military that has happened. For instance, when the guy gets the tape of his wife of the movie The Deer Hunter.
Oh, she tapes over.
She tapes her having sex with the guy and like clearly just being like, this is it, we're done.
Right.
Like that's happened. Like that's been a thing. So
this is my neighbor. I let him borrow my car.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But when like Swafford's like, I'm waiting for you to leave so I can watch it again.
Yeah.
What did you think of Peter Sarsgaard in the film?
I like him. He's a really, I couldn't get like a vibe on it. Like I got like, he's really mellow, which works because everyone else is nuts. So it's good to have someone he's
serious,
quiet and serious.
He wants this life. He wants the suck.
But I kind of wanted more about his character. Like I know we're following Swafford, but like what did he do? What was his criminal record?
Yeah.
That got him in there. What was his past life? Why is he so obsessed with being in the Marines?
When we're assuming he killed himself.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. They don't really say anything.
They don't say anything unless maybe he was shot by the cops because he was slinging dope and
who knows? Who knows?
You never really know.
That's one thing that you don't really.
And you don't know how long it has been either.
No, exactly. Well, it has to be a couple months because they all have long hair, more than a couple months. I mean, Fergus.
It's got to be at least a little while.
Fergus
has long hair and a beard, but yeah.
But back to Sarsgaard. I'll get back to this. I'll get back to when they're home after the war. His branding scene when obviously Swafford like gets him to get branded because this is after he finds out that he's going to get discharged 2 weeks when they get back.
Yeah.
Because he lied on his application. He Mike says that he
had a criminal record.
Never said that. So he gets that brand. You could tell, but I think Sarsgaard acting in that scene is really good. He's like fighting it, but he's crying because he wants it. And I think it's a really good moment.
No, yeah, it's earned. It's earned. Swafford never gets the full brand.
I don't even know if I want that brand, but yeah.
That's an ugly brand. I didn't even realize that it said the USMC until like the end. It just looked like a squirrely piece of like a grill.
If they don't do it right.
What is that? I don't want what brand is that?
Yeah. Well, I'll get that Forgotten Cinema brand for you. We'll get that going.
Live.
But I want to talk about when they got home after. It's just quick. It's really just.
It's not about that, man.
I understand that, but it's in the movie, so I make it mean something more. I don't know. Did you like the song? Because the song is important to that. Did you like the song they played, the Tom Waits song?
It's good. It's good. It's powerful. I guess it's meaningful.
Yeah. So that's an actual song. That song called "Soldier Things," and it's about Marines and civilian life. Like it's specifically written about the struggles of veterans, like when they come home. So that's why that song is there. When I watched this movie and I was listening to it, I was like, I'm not in love with the song. Like it was kind of throwing me off. But when I read the note, I was like, okay, well, I understand why it's in there.
Why it's in there, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you need more. The whole movie's about their experiences in Desert Storm and like how it affects them. My thing is, I guess I want more because Troy dies. Okay, so we want to know that Troy dies because his experiences and him getting kicked out, that was a big deal. He killed himself or died. But I don't know anything about Swafford coming home. What were his aspirations? He wanted to leave the Marines, but what did he want to do with his life?
He comes home and he goes right to his girlfriend, who he knows has left him.
Exactly. And then he's surprised.
Which is kind of pathetic. There. And it was kind of like, come on.
I didn't get that.
Yeah, exactly. What does Swafford do for a living? What does he do? I mean, he's a writer, so that's what he does. Yeah, obviously, because he wrote the book.
Yes, yeah.
And they show him inside on his computer. So he obviously.
With the TV in the background.
Yeah, they talk about how that's the other thing too. When you read the descriptions or the plot or something like that, or Wikipedia, and you read you go on there, it talks about how Swafford is a well-read individual and he's somebody who's intelligent. But when you meet him, I don't think you get that sense. You get sometimes he comes off as just being like a grunt, like he's
100%,
and you don't get that sense that he's somebody. Like he didn't because he talks about he didn't do well in high school, didn't take it seriously, didn't take his education seriously. You got that sense a little bit. And I don't know if it's just because he's had his head shaved when you first meet him and
does he say he didn't take his education seriously?
I thought he makes a comment about how when they show the scene when he's having sex with his girlfriend, Christina, and he's talking about like how he spent his high school years or something like that, studying. And they're having sex.
Them banging, right?
Yeah. So the idea to me is that, okay, well, you didn't really take it seriously.
Oh, I didn't get this. That's what he thought of. Like that's
that's
more important.
But when you read about the movie and you read the synopses and stuff, it makes it seem like he's a well-read individual.
The only thing you get that he's well-read is he's reading that book, The Stranger.
But that's what I'm talking about.
When he's taking it, but he can't take it down.
But it's obviously somebody who is a writer and has, he can put that, put pen to paper. It's not very easy for some people. So I kind of.
The only one you get to know is really smart and writes really well is John Krasinski's 2-second thing. Yeah. But that should be, I mean, you're conflating things. Maybe it didn't really happen. But you should have Swafford do that.
Yeah, sure.
Show me that he was smart. Like have him write letters for someone else. Have him do that.
Yeah,
yeah. You don't get that at all. He definitely, especially at the Christmas party, he's buying the booze and the oil drums.
Yeah,
he's getting naked with the Santa hat on his junk.
He comes off as a very
full on grunt.
Grunt, but like a jock. Yeah, somebody who's like, yeah.
Which at first, he's not. He's just like, hey, this is my locker, blah blah blah. And then he gets beat up, fake branded, and then all of a sudden he's this tough guy.
Maybe that's the idea that like being in the service changes you.
I mean, I'm sure that's part of it, but also you don't get anything other than that.
No, so there's definitely some stuff that I like this film. I know I didn't say I know you had your big thing how you enjoyed it, but like I do like this film. There's just sometimes there's like little things that just make me. Not questions. I'm missing something or I want more, or maybe I just want more. Maybe I just want more.
See, I think the runtime is great because it is a slower film. It feels a little longer. So I'm okay with them not making it a 2.5 hour movie.
Sure.
Of this would be a little much.
Another thing that surprised me about this film when I started reading the notes was how much stuff they digitally altered in post, which like, for instance, they obviously didn't shoot in Iraq. They shot They shot in Imperial Valley in Southern California, but that has mountains behind it. So those are all taken out.
Yeah, those mountains.
They scouted the desert locations in the summer, but when they shot, it was fall or winter or whatever. So there was vegetation growing. So that had to be digitally removed. Jamie Foxx, his character had a giant panther tattoo on the back of his head that was in the movie, was for the movie, and they shot with it. And then Mendes thought it made him look too hardcore. So they digitally removed that from every frame that he's in. Like there's just so many, they shot the scene with the oil fires.
Right.
They shot that at Universal Studios, at a studio set, and they used like special lights to make it look like oil fires. And then on the flip side, they replaced those with CGI oil fire, stuff like that.
It definitely wasn't oil.
But like, so, and obviously that's not real oil that's falling on them. That's molasses or some kind of molasses mixture. But anyways, like, so there was a lot of digitally altered shots in this film, which I didn't really consider. And so that kind of surprised me a little bit.
I figured the oil field scene was filmed the same way like the Skyfall fire was, because he did the same thing with that, where he digitally replaced the fire, but did the lighting.
Okay.
The Jamie Foxx note is so stupid. You make the decision before you shoot. That's a director with too much power to then be able to go, and I want to digitally remove that now.
Aww.
Like, you couldn't have done that 2 movies ago, Sam Mendes. And now like, I think that's abusing your...
Coming at Sam Mendes.
I just don't like that. Like, if you chose to film it, like that was your choice.
Mm-hmm.
Now you want to remove an entire piece of a character thing.
You might want to sit down with George Lucas then and talk about all the stuff he did.
That's true. I guess that's true. Well, I still have that same problem. I don't mind the addition of special effects in it to make them make the movies last longer. I get that. Like the Han shooting first thing, obviously that's stupid. There are certain things you should do, and certain things you can't do.
Replacing shotguns with walkie-talkies in E.T.
That's Spielberg.
I know it's Spielberg. I know. You shouldn't go back and change your films. Just leave them alone. Just that's what they are. They are what they are. That's it. Move on. Anyways, let me get to some reviews for you. Owen Gleiberman from EW. Jarhead isn't overtly political, yet by evoking the almost surreal futility of men whose lust for victory through action is dashed at every turn by the tactics, terrain, and morality of the war they're in, it sets up a powerfully resonant echo of the one we're in today. So
I don't think it's not.
Get deep. That one.
I don't think it's political at all. That could be any soldier in any war where they train to fight and they don't get to fight. He says
it's not overtly political, but because
it becomes political because
it's about
of
the people. Yeah,
that's just because it's about war doesn't mean it is.
That's a lot of bringing your baggage to the movie too, and that's very difficult for a lot of people to do, and it's very difficult sometimes for me to do. But when you step into a theater, when you flip on the TV and you're watching a movie and you're not with your second screening, if you're second screening on a film, the movie's not good. But as my Daredevil watch has shown you, you have to try to keep that baggage at the door and try to not, bring whatever you just have to watch this. It's a story. You're being told a story. You like it. You like it. You don't like it. You don't like it. But it's difficult for a lot of people to not think about.
I mean, there are some movies where, and it's some war movies where it's like your politics are definitely going to have to be there.
Sure.
But this is not one of them.
No.
This is about the men at war, not what caused the war, what happened. You don't even know these soldiers' real opinion of it. Yes, it's oil.
Mike, honestly, but when they're first there to protect.
The tent is sponsored by the oil company.
They're there to protect the oil. That is the entire reason why they're there. I mean, that's not political. That's just facts.
That's facts. I get that. I don't not.
No, I know. I know. Yeah.
But the movie is not trying to be political.
Yeah. Pathetic.
It's about soldiers at war. That's,
So we got a major incursion happening over here. What's going on with the oil? Is it all right? Richard Schickel from New York Times, or from Time Magazine, excuse me. Quote, but the best war movies, and this one, despite its being overlong and repetitive, is among them. Hold that men fight, or in this case, are ready to fight, not for causes, but to survive and help their comrades do the same. I mean, that's true in every war movie. You fight for the person next to you. They say that. Say that in the military.
Kurt, you've seen a war movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I don't think that's what this movie's not. The movie's not about that.
Yeah.
It's not about fighting and helping the man next to you. It's about living with the man next to you.
Well,
it's about just spending that much time doing nothing with the man next to you.
Well, Schickel's saying that this is overlong and repetitive. Did you find that there's repetitive notes in this film as you're watching it?
I didn't find it that repetitive.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's not
different. Everything happens, and I think they do a really good job of escalating. That boredom once they're overseas, or even during basic training, escalating the training or the torture or the suffering or whatever. Everything's escalated. I don't think it's repetitive.
Each scene has a purpose. Like the scene, well, of course, the scene where they're playing football. Obviously that's the press is there and they're all messing around and they're just kind of like and he's like put the suits on, you're gonna play football.
It's 115 degrees,
and then the whole point of that is like, now let's show you how you can hydrate. But all the suits are busted.
Yeah.
Not because of the football, because they've been broken. He's like, my tube fell out 2 weeks ago. I have my own new one. Like that's to show you that the futility of what they're working.
Exactly.
Yeah. The pills that they're taking to enhance if they take the medication if they get hit with a nerve agent. How some of them don't even take it.
One of the guy takes it and flicks it. But also, they're what's Jamie Foxx's character? Sykes. Yeah, Sykes. Their frustration with Sykes as it goes becomes more personal. It's less, yes sir. It's less, just like holding back their frustration to by the time that pill comes, they're just straight up disagreeing with him and shouting at him.
And I think there's a level in terms of Sykes that he knows. He loves he has that great moment when when that oil fire, and it's actually like the tail of the trailer, which is really cool. He's like, hoorah, when he does that. The trailer is really good. But he has that scene. He's like, I could be drywalling with my cousin or my brother.
Making $100,000 a year.
A nice truck. But it's like, well, you know why I don't do it? Because I love this job. He loves being in the Corps. He loves the job. And like, that's just him. But that's a really cool moment that's a really nice scene for Jamie Foxx right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's, and to just going on that scene again, there's that moment and a lot of moments in the film where Gyllenhaal is just listening and reacting, and he's not getting a line in. He's not talking. There are a lot of moments in this film where he's just letting the person, like you talked about, letting the person in the scene play,
have their moment
and do it, and not worry about, and I think that's great. I think that's you talk about acting is trying not to act, like you're trying not to show emotion, but I think that's, listening and just being there in that moment, I think is a great testament to that act.
Yes. I think I brought it up last season, and like, this is the hardest part of, like, if you go to school for acting, the hardest part of that is what to do when you don't have lines, how to listen, how to act like you're listening, even though you know the script, you know what's happening. Half of you is waiting for your next step for blocking, or half of you are waiting for you to get your line in, or say your monologue, or the spotlight to be on you. But the hardest part is to listen and look like you're listening and actually
be in the moment,
listening. No matter how many times you've done the scene, no matter how many times you've rehearsed, regardless of your hubris of wanting to steal this limelight, that is the hardest thing to do. And like you said, it's a testament to Jake Gyllenhaal. A lot of actors can't do that.
I remember seeing an article, a video. Ethan Hawke was talking about acting, and he's like, if you're not doing it, I'm paraphrasing. If you're not doing this for, like, if it doesn't get you excited, or you're not doing this to be like, if you're like 50 or 60 or something like that, or you're not, your career's not as great as it is, but you're teaching and you're acting with people and kind of, being in that moment of whether it's teaching or whether it's instructing. If like, that's not why you're doing it, then don't be an actor. Like, you know what I mean? Like, be an actor because you love the craft and you're immersing yourself into it. And you're like, it's all, now this is me, not him. Like, you're like, it's all your life. That's all you do. Like, who are we talking to? Who are we talking about? What else was I reading? Was it Denzel? Was it,
I know D'Onofrio's been.
Yes. I saw that.
He's been doing a lot of, he's got like,
he talks
great takes on this.
He talks about that all the time.
Yeah.
That's just new now because
now he's doing more press tours. But like his stuff, like, I was like, I want to go and listen to all his interviews. He's like really big on that.
He did acting classes. He did teaching.
I believe that because he's all about don't stop taking acting.
Right. And I think the people that have been in for, and they both, Ethan Hawke and D'Onofrio have been in that business for a long, long time. They're in it. They're from New York. They're New Yorkers. They're from the stage. They're like, that's like, you want to be an actor. You gotta live and breathe it. You want to be a podcaster, probably you got to live and breathe. But that's true of anything. You want to, whatever you want to do, you want to be a writer, you got to do it. You got to always just do it.
Right.
Like, and I think and you have to do it even if you're never going to be what you think you deserve to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? But to the point where this stems from the conversation about Gyllenhaal sitting there listening to Jamie Foxx deliver his line. Like, not a lot of actors would be able to do that.
No.
You know
and then
they
would never cut to it.
Right.
Because they'd be like you can see it in his eyes.
Yes.
He is listening and absorbing that.
Because he's listening. And what that tells you is he is in character. Exactly. He is in character. It's great, but he's listening and you should be listening because you're like, wow, look how I got to listen to this. I got to go back. Like that's like, it's just inherent. And it's like, when you see that on screen, there are moments in movies, and I talk about it all the time. I talk about the moment in LA Confidential when Exley asks Vincennes, why did you get in to be a cop? And Vincennes pauses, and he just sits there and pauses. And this is Kevin Spacey playing Vincennes, and he pauses, and then he's like, I don't remember. But the pause is he does remember. Right. It's like that's like the purest form of acting where it's like he didn't, like, he said everything and not saying anything at all.
It's not said.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like De Niro said, like, cry. It's not about acting. Isn't about crying.
Yeah.
Acting is about trying not to cry.
Exactly.
Because real people wouldn't just do it.
Right.
It's about hiding things.
And it's not easy for a lot of actors to do. It's not easy. Like, it's the only very few, maybe like if you're looking at 100 actors that you can pick, give me 100 actors. Would you say like what, 20 can do it?
Less?
Yeah.
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 When you get to that kind of intensity or that kind of level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just, I think we're just Gyllenhaal's performance in this is really good, and everyone's got Fox is good.
I don't think there's any poor
Sarsgaard,
performances in
no.
this at all.
Everyone plays their roles the way they need to play them, but I think like
the people I don't like because I'm like, wow, you're kind of a douche.
The three standouts to me are
yeah.
Sarsgaard, Gyllenhaal, and Fox. I think those three, the three leads, I think they all did very well.
Yep.
All right, so who are you recommending this to then?
Well, like I said, anybody who like a high school student that's thinking about enlisting, I think this is an important film. Anybody who enjoys war movies, anybody who enjoys movies about the military, our troops, I think this is an interesting watch that you're not going to get. There's not a lot of movies like this that follow and discuss this kind of subject that they do. I think that people that are really into acting and performance, I think that you can get there's a lot to watch in this film. I think the cinematography is great. If you're into that, if you're a cinephile that hasn't seen this movie yet, I think there's a lot to like in this movie, and there's a lot that a lot of people can get out of this movie. Obviously, if you're really more just, I really like comedies, romance movies, or I really just like action films, this would be a tougher because there's really not any of that going on.
No, this film is not a film like I'm surrounded in my everyday life by casual film, not even casual entertainment fans, casual movies or TV, like
Right.
just the generic stuff. Aside from my buddy Adrian, I am not around people that watch movies, know movies. And I can't tell you how incredibly frustrating it is for me.
Oh no, it's
because it's so frustrating. And I sometimes just want to immerse myself in some cinephile knit group. But anyways, but regardless of that, so to your point, this is a movie that I don't think I could recommend to a lot of people because I would get mad if they didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they would understand it in terms of like what they're trying to say.
Right.
And it just would be lost on them. I don't think they would. They wouldn't get anything out of it
because they're stupid.
Doesn't make any sense. Nothing happened. So I think you're right. I think it's very difficult to recommend this to just everybody.
General. And
I've had that. We've had that takes. We've had movies where you're like, oh, certain people. I'm like, no, everyone. This is
true. This is surprising because usually you're just like, I would recommend it to anybody.
Maybe it's just the growing frustration that I've recently been faced with, where it's just I can't stand it. I can't stand that I know something and I hear people talking about a movie or hear people talking about stuff and I'm just like, you're wrong. But it's like, it doesn't matter. My conversation, no one gives a crap what I think.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's stuff like that. Like, and it's not like I'm trying to prove people wrong. You just want to have a conversation about movies. Like, like for instance, like, people are like, oh, I watched this show last night. I watched that. And I'm like, oh, I watched like some like obscure or whatever, like what I watch is like, I watched the Academy Award winner last weekend. We watched Flow.
Right. The animated movie. Yeah.
Nobody knows what that is. Like I could, and I know no
cat looks cute,
but I'm talking about like, I can't bring that up. Like I watched this animated movie that has no dialogue and it's just about animals.
Oh, there's no dialogue?
Oh no.
Oh, so that's why I won. I was wondering, it's like,
no, it's all animals and sounds with like this cat, this capybara, this monkey.
Whoa, there's a capybara in it?
Yeah.
I really want to watch
There's a dog. There's like, and there's a bird and they're all friends on a boat. And they're like, it's like, you know what it's about?
This sounds delightful.
Do you not know what it's about?
I only know the image of the cat that's on the poster.
Oh no. The where they are is a massive flood.
Right.
And they all have to just try to survive.
That's what's called Flow?
Yeah. But nobody dies. No animal dies.
That's good.
Okay. But they all have to just kind of like survive and fly and work together and stuff like that.
This movie sounds delightful.
But like, I can't, like, I just
don't want to talk to about it.
No, I'm just really bummed. Sorry. I need a therapist. Anyway, well, Mike, well, then why are we saying this is forgotten then? Like, why is this on our list? Why are we doing this movie?
I don't know. You put it on the list.
Did I?
Oh, maybe I did.
Because I really like it. Probably because I liked it.
I think that
because the acting.
I think it's forgotten because this is pre-Gyllenhaal leaving Hollywood for a little bit to come back and training.
When was Prince of Persia?
I think like right after Jarhead.
Well, no, Zodiac. He did Zodiac.
True. Maybe this is like his part. No,
I think this is.
I watched this in high school. This is junior year of high school for me. Well, regardless of that, I think that this is before like things he did really got that much attention. I think that it's a movie that's not really a war movie, like a war movie action movie. So people aren't really flocking to see it. Like you said, it's harder to recommend it. It's not streaming, which always hurts a movie that's from this, like, it always hurts any movie that's nowadays. If it's not streaming, it's forgotten about because people's attention spans and memories are like this now. Because there's just crap flying at you a mile a minute. I think that it's about Desert Storm, which isn't necessarily the most, it's not the sexiest war, World War II, anything modern like Afghanistan, Iraq, obviously is more popular to film now. Vietnam, like you said, like a while back, probably in the Killing Fields episode, there's not a lot of Vietnam War movies, especially nowadays. There's not a lot of stuff about Desert Storm. The non-sexy wars are like, people don't really like watch stuff about them. And I think that's what hurts it. It's got a great cast. Jamie Foxx is still popular. Jake Gyllenhaal's popular, but yeah.
Probably because it's a war movie that there's no war.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
There's no action.
It's not
but it's not about that.
to.
Yeah, that's probably why. It's probably one of those movies that doesn't have a lot of word of mouth because people are like, yeah, it's okay, but nothing really happened. Like, so yeah, no, that's probably exactly what it is. To your point before, Prince of Persia is 2010. So he does 2010, then he's in Love and Other Drugs, and then in Source Code of 2011, and then End of Watch 2012. So he's got movies he's doing. So
his
you're thinking about
it's probably like it's like a year he went to Broadway.
So you're like when he comes, so like
Prince of Persia was definitely
I think
where
you're
he
thinking
went to
about
Broadway.
when he comes back and does Prisoners. So he does Prisoners, Enemy, Nightcrawler, Southpaw, Accidental Love. So he's
yeah.
I got you.
But I think Prince of Persia is where he went off and did his first Broadway play after that.
Okay, well, that's 2010.
So it's like it wasn't a huge.
No,
I guess it wasn't a very long break from acting.
That movie was all right. That movie was okay.
But Prince of Persia,
yeah.
He hated it apparently.
Well,
I've never seen it.
It's okay. It's
but
just not. It's really not. Like
I think it maybe just the experience filming it really bumped me out.
I got you. That makes sense. All right. Where can they find us?
You can find us at ForgottenCinemaPodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts or wherever you're watching this show, which would be on YouTube probably. So why don't you go ahead, please like, rate, subscribe. We've got over 300 episodes for your listening pleasure. A lot of them are now for your viewing pleasure. We're really going hard to YouTube.
Going hard.
Every Wednesday, without fail, we come out with a new episode or our main show, but we've also got our now showings. We've got our look back series where we kind of look back on other popular films leading up to brand new releases that we'll do now showings of if there are some. Like we did Roadhouse, all the Ghostbusters. We did Gladiators. We've done a ton of those kind of look back. So go check those out, or lead up series rather. I'm sorry. Look back series are exclusively on Patreon.
For now.
We have our own exclusive Patreon stuff for now. You get discounts on merch, access to our Discord, all that kind of stuff if you want to join our Patreon and help support the show. But you just watching and rating, subscribing, all that helps the show as well. And let us know down in the comments, what's your favorite obscure war movie? Yeah.
Obscure Hamburger Hill. And join us next week. We're going to be doing the 2002 film Igby Goes Down, starring Academy Award winner Kieran Culkin Butler.
It's timely. Well, when we're recording this.
I know I have seen this film.
I have never seen this, but Elise loves this film.
Okay, here's the thing. I know I have seen this film. I don't remember a whole heck of a lot, but I know I didn't like it.
Ooh.
So we'll see.
I'm
not saying that might be just, that could change. So we'll see.
No clue anything about this movie.
Oh, do you want me to give you the little synopsis line, little one-liner?
Yeah, give me a one-liner.
A young man's peculiar upbringing renders him unable to competently cope with the struggle of growing up.
Oh, no. I don't know if I like this movie either.
I'm sorry, but has anybody competently coped with the struggle of growing up?
Oh.
So you can't competently cope with the struggle or just with growing up? Oh, here we go. I love it.
Oh no.
Yeah. Why did you pick this film?
Because Elise loves this movie.
Oh, Elise. We might have to cut away to like a shot of her being like, "I'm sorry." Can we just do that like in The Simpsons when they have Kevin Costner's Blu-ray for the Postmaster? When if we really don't like this film, like just us, and then just having the images, her apologizing for a whole hour of the episode. All right, that's next week on the show. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I'm Mike Field.
I'm Mike Butler.
And this has been Forgotten Cinema.
Hoorah.
Hey, everyone. I hope you enjoyed our discussion about Jarhead. If you're a big Jake Gyllenhaal fan like Mike and I are, check out our episode for Now Showing where we did Roadhouse. I think we both were fans of that, right?
I like
Awesome.
And then if you want to keep the kind of serious kind of drama train going, we just did Narc starring Ray Liotta. So check that out. It's going to be right above me right up here. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you next time.
Smooth.